That shirt you didn't need, the meal you ordered at twice the price, the subscription you signed up for at 2 a.m. when you couldn't sleep. In that moment, it wasn't just shopping, it was something else entirely. Here's something strange. We talk about emotional spending like it's a simple lack of willpower, like you just need to be more disciplined, more controlled. But if that were true, why do highly successful people, people who have built careers, accomplished incredible things, still find themselves hitting buy now at midnight? What if emotional spending isn't about the money at all? What if it's about something far more complex, something that lives in the shadows of our psychology that almost no one talks about? You know the feeling. You've had a terrible day. Maybe someone criticized you at work. Maybe you got into an argument with someone you love. Maybe you're just tired. Tired of trying, tired of being strong, tired of holding it all together. And then you open your phone. The ads seem to know. They always seem to know. That dress would make you feel confident. That gadget that would make your life easier. That course that would finally make you the person you want to be. One click. That's all it takes. And for a moment, just a brief shining moment, you feel better. You feel like you've done something, like you've taken action, like you've given yourself what you deserve. But here's the thing most people don't understand. You're not buying a product. You're buying a feeling. You're buying relief from something you can't name. You're buying a moment of control in a life that feels increasingly out of control. The psychology behind this runs deeper than anyone wants to admit. When you're emotionally dysregulated, when you're anxious, sad, angry, or numb, your brain enters a state of seeking. Not seeking anything specific at first, just seeking, looking for something, anything that will shift the feeling inside you. This is where it gets fascinating. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for rational decision-making, goes quiet. Meanwhile, your limbic system, the emotional center, lights up like a city at night. You're no longer thinking about whether you need something. You're feeling your way toward relief. And retailers know this. They've known it for decades. Every limited time offer, every only 3 left in stock, every treat yourself, you deserve it. These aren't just marketing tactics. They're psychological triggers designed to bypass your rational mind and speak directly to your emotional need. But here's what's really happening beneath the surface. Emotional spending is often a form of self-medication. You're not weak. You're not irresponsible. You're trying to solve a problem that has nothing to do with shopping. You're trying to fill a void. Let's talk about what that void actually is, because this is where most discussions about emotional spending stop. They tell you to budget better, to use cash instead of cards, to wait 24 hours before making a purchase. All of that might help with the symptoms, but it doesn't address the wound. The truth is, emotional spending is often rooted in unmet emotional needs that go back years, sometimes decades. Needs for validation, for safety, for proof that you matter, for a sense of control in a world that feels chaotic. Think about it. When did you start emotional spending? For many people, it began in a specific period of their life, maybe after a breakup, maybe during a stressful job, maybe when you moved to a new city where you didn't know anyone. But sometimes it goes back further, back to childhood. Every purchase is a way of saying, I'm worth this, I deserve this, I matter. And this is where it gets complex, because that need is real. You do deserve good things. You do matter. But the marketplace has learned to capitalize on these deep human needs, packaging self-worth in boxes that arrive at your door. Here's something no one talks about. Emotional spending often intensifies during periods when you feel powerless in other areas of your life. You can't control whether your boss appreciates you. You can't control whether that relationship works out. You can't control the anxiety that wakes you up at 3 a.m. You can't control how your body looks, not really. You can't control what other people think of you, but you can control this one transaction, this one moment of choice, click, purchase, confirmed. For those few seconds, you are not helpless. You are not at the mercy of circumstances. You are making something happen. The psychology here is profound. Emotional spending becomes a coping mechanism for the fundamental human need for agency. When everything else feels uncertain, purchasing something is concrete, measurable, immediate. But here's the truth that lives in the shadow of all of this. The relief is always temporary. The feeling of control is always an illusion. Because the real chaos, the real powerlessness, is still there, waiting, unchanged. And then comes the morning after. The package arrives, or the credit card statement comes, or you look at your bank account and the feeling shifts. The relief evaporates. In its place, shame. What did I do? Why did I buy that? I can't afford this. I'm so stupid. I have no self-control. What's wrong with me? And society's response? Just stop spending. Have more willpower. Budget better. As if you hadn't tried. As if you hadn't promised yourself 100 times that this was the last time. But here's what's fascinating about emotional spending that reveals something profound about human psychology. It's not about the objects at all. You don't want the shoes. You want to feel confident. You don't want the gadget. You want to feel capable. You don't want the clothes. You want to feel seen. You don't want the subscription. You want to feel like you're growing. Every purchase is a translation, a conversion of emotional need into material form. It's an attempt to solve an internal problem with an external solution. And this is why it never quite works, not permanently, because you can't buy your way to inner peace. You can't purchase self-worth. You can't add confidence to your cart. The objects are symbols, placeholders for what you really need, to feel safe in your own skin, to believe you're enough exactly as you are, to trust that you can handle whatever life brings, to know that your worth isn't dependent on what you own or achieve. These are not things Amazon can deliver. Here's where it gets heavy, so let's be gentle with this truth. The real cost of emotional spending isn't just financial. It's the erosion of trust in yourself. Every time you promise you won't do it again, and then you do, you're teaching yourself that you can't keep promises to yourself, that your word to yourself doesn't matter. It's the loss of presence. Hours spent scrolling through products, comparing options, reading reviews, tracking packages, time that could have been spent actually addressing what you're feeling. It's the weight of secrets. If you're hiding purchases, deleting confirmation emails, lying about what things cost, that's energy spent maintaining a facade, energy that drains you more than you realize. So, what do you do with all of this? Because understanding the psychology is one thing, living differently is another. Here's the truth that might set you free. Emotional spending isn't your enemy, it's a messenger. It's your psyche's way of trying to tell you something important. The problem isn't that you're listening, it's that you're misunderstanding the message when you feel the urge to buy something you don't need. That's not a moral failure. That's valuable information. That's your emotional system saying, something is wrong right now. I'm in pain. I need help. The question isn't, how do I stop feeling this urge? The question is, what is this urge trying to tell me? What am I actually seeking? Not the product, the feeling beneath the product. What need am I trying to meet? Security, worthiness, control, connection? What emotion am I trying to avoid? And what would happen if, instead of buying something, I actually let myself feel it? This is radical. What if the next time you felt the urge to emotionally spend, you pause? Not to judge yourself, not to white-knuckle your way through it, but to get curious, to ask, what am I really needing right now? And then, how can I give that to myself in a way that actually nourishes me? Because here's what's both heartbreaking and beautiful about all of this. Emotional spending is evidence of your capacity for self-care. You're just directing it toward the wrong solutions. Think about it. When you're hurting, you don't ignore it. You don't just suffer in silence. You actively try to help yourself feel better. That instinct, that's healthy. That's your survival system working. The only problem is that you've been taught to meet emotional needs with material solutions. And that's not a personal failing. That's the culture we're swimming in. We've been trained systematically to believe that every feeling has a product that can fix it. But you already have what it takes to heal. You just need to redirect that impulse to care for yourself toward things that actually work. Maybe instead of buying something, you write out what you're feeling. Call someone who understands. Move your body in a way that feels good. Let yourself cry. Rest without guilt. Ask for help. Say no to something that's draining you. Honor the need instead of medicating it. If you found this video informative, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel. Thanks for watching.